Hello, so welcome to another reading vlog. I meant to start this vlog a little bit earlier, but somehow I got stressed by work and now I'm very tired, but I just need to get this vlog started or otherwise I'm going to keep putting it off. And I do want to vlog my week of reading. So I really have three things that I want to read this week. Firstly, two of them are Cytonic related. So I want to read Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson, which is a science fiction. It's the third book in a series all about this girl named Spencer, who lives on this planet where they're basically trapped on the planet. These aliens keep attacking them and won't let them leave and fight these aliens. But because of something her father did, her family doesn't have a good reputation and she struggles to be allowed to be involved. In the third book, things have changed quite a lot. The world has really expanded a lot. We've learned about what's going on with these aliens. And I am really interested to see what direction this third book will go in. But I did start reading the couple of novellas that they've released that go in between book 2 and book 3. So this is the second one, Redawn. I read the first one, Sunreach, last week. I like Sunreach. It was a lot of fun, but quite simplistic in some ways, and I didn't really enjoy the romance. I thought it was a little bit cringe. But Redawn, I believe, is from the perspective of one of these alien people, kind of. So I'll be interested to see what kind of story this is. Whether it's just as fun or whether it has kind of more, I don't know, depth to it. And then hopefully I can get into Cytonic. I've been doing really badly at reading physical books lately, even though I have a goal to read for an hour before bed every night. But do you know what? It's nearly bedtime already and I've ruined it. And I kind of want to go for a walk because I was telling myself that every day I should go for a walk outside and get some fresh air, and like I haven't, but it's pitch black outside. Do I go for a walk? I haven't decided. But if I do, I will listen to my audiobook. So the audiobook that I am planning to read this week is The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. So this is the third book, I think, in the Wheel of Time. I did quite like the first book in the Wheel of Time series. The second one, I kind of wasn't that clear on what was going on. I felt like because I read the first one physically, I was more following along, whereas the second one, the way Robert Jordan writes, it's quite like expansive, but you can't really tell which things he's talking about actually matter. And so I feel like my brain just kind of skips over a lot of the details because I'm like, that probably doesn't matter, which is not that helpful for taking in the details that do matter. So what I've decided to do with The Dragon Reborn is I have a whiteboard in my hallway, and sometimes when I'm reading thrillers, I like write up notes and linkages to all the characters, and it helps to figure out the mystery, and I've quite enjoyed that with some thrillers. And I'm going to try and do the same with The Dragon Reborn. I've started already. I haven't been putting up all the details, but I find just trying to keep track of the key elements and the key characters and their connections has been helping to keep me focusing on the story because I know that I'm going to want to update my whiteboard. And hopefully when I finish the book, it'll help me to remember what's happened as well. That's my plan. If you don't know what the Wheel of Time is about, basically it is about these young teens who get brought into this bigger magical conflict. Basically, only women are allowed to use magic in this world because back in the past, men used to use it and they were corrupted by the power and eventually had to all be taken out. And there's kind of like this circular prophecy going on where certain people will appear to fill certain roles, and that's kind of like heading towards some kind of apocalyptic situation. Some people are trying to make the prophecy happen, some people are trying to make it not happen, and I guess we're still learning about it. One of the characters is really fighting against what he thinks is his role in the prophecy. Another one has a really interesting power that I really love, and as well the women are kind of learning about the magic, and I'm a little bit annoyed because so far in this third book we've only gotten the boys, and the boys, I mean, they're interesting, but I don't care as much about the boys. I want to know about the girls and how they're going to learn about their magic, although the boys are learning about magic too. So I mean, it's not that the boys aren't doing interesting things, it's just like I can only put up with so much of like teenage boys. I think they're teenagers. They act like teenagers. There's kind of this running gag in the series where the boys keep thinking about how the other boys know how to talk to girls, but they don't. But like all of them think that about each other, which I do enjoy. I think there's some really great parts to the Wheel of Time, but I just kind of feel like there's a lot to it, and I'm not sure it really needs to be that expansive. But still, it's a very popular series. I want to watch the TV show, but I don't want to be spoiled, so I'm trying to finish the book series first. I think that's the order I'm going to go with. So also, for my TBR Machine challenge, my reading challenge every month, I really should be reading this book as well. But I do find Anne McCaffrey stuff to be a bit hard to get through. The writing style isn't my favorite, even though I do sometimes like the stories. So really, I'd like to pick this up this week too, but I really feel with the amount of physical book reading I've been doing lately that this is not achievable. So we're going to put this aside as maybe I just fail at reading it, because I really need to read this because it's due back at the library. And because it's like a new release, there's a whole queue and I can't renew it. My library has taken away the idea of fines for overdue books, so I can keep it past the due date, but I feel bad because other people are waiting. So really, I just need to try and get to this tonight. But I guess I'm going to go for like a very short night walk and see if I can get some fresh air. Maybe I'll die, you know, all that fun stuff. Hello, it's Wednesday now, and I'm thinking, how long can I put off doing my roots? I was trying to put it off, but the way my hair is now with these colors, wow, they're super obvious. Anyway, let me update you on my reading. Last night I did read some of the Dragon Reborn while I went for a long walk. I didn't die, so that was good. As well, there's kind of this element in Wheel of Time of like different worlds, and we learnt one thing about these different worlds that made me very excited. As well, we changed over to the girls' perspective, so they're kind of heading back to this, I guess you could say it's like a magic school. I guess it's the place where these Aes Sedai, these women with magical powers, kind of learn about their powers. So they're there. I will say there's 3 different girls. One of them has a distinctive personality, but the other 2 are kind of quite similar. And I feel like I keep forgetting which girl's perspective I'm actually reading from, but also maybe it doesn't matter that much. It's definitely still super slow paced like the previous 2 books in the series, but like, it's okay. I'm enjoying it. It's a good audiobook to listen to while I do other things. The other thing that I did do last night is I started reading Redawn. This, I didn't read much of it. It started with kind of like this sport that almost seemed like, I don't know, some kind of like spaceship baseball. And it's weird though, because it's kind of all interconnected with the politics. And sports and politics, not my favorite. Or at least like, I know I've talked about the Black Prism series and really loving all the political intrigue in that, but that's like, I don't know, I feel like it's the characters we're following along with. We're much more understanding of what they're trying to achieve through all this politicking, whereas I'm not clear on what's really going on in this yet. We're following this alien, I guess it's hard to talk about without spoiling Skyward, but she's trying to figure out how to make things better for her people. That's not too spoilery, is it? But she's in a kind of a difficult situation. So I haven't read much of it. I'll continue on with it tonight. I better get to it tonight. I realized actually that I have another couple of books that I need to read this week. I need to read these 2 Babysitter's Club graphic novel adaptations. So I've got this Karen's Kitty Cat Club and Claudia and the New Girl. I've been reading these just kind of really nostalgic reads because I read the originals when I was a kid, but these are due back at the library, and these have the most massive hold queues of anything I have ever gotten from the library. So I really need to read them and return them. They will be super quick reads, so really they won't take me that long. I just need to find time, and what is time? Because I finish work super late tonight, and then I'll go for a walk, and then it'll be bedtime. So that's annoying, or at least I'm annoyed about it. Also, when I go for my walk tonight, I'm going to go and return my library books. It would be much more convenient to return all my library books at once, but I don't want to wait until I finish reading all of them, because even though my library doesn't do overdue fines anymore, part of me feels like, do they have some kind of secret record? And if you're always returning your books late, they like have a black mark against your name as like a bad library user? Because I don't want to be recorded as a bad library user, so I am going to return them. so I can be a good girl. Hello, can you hear that baby screaming in the background? It is not my baby, but I can hear it. I was waiting till it stopped crying, but it's still crying. Poor thing. I'm not mad about it. Like, totally relatable. I feel like crying too. Not really, but like, I'm definitely still stressed about work, even though I was hoping at this point to not be stressed about work. My work started talking about extending my contract, and briefly I was considering it, and then I was like, actually, why would I put this stress on myself? And like, yes, I could try to improve things so that it won't be so stressful, but there's a lot of stuff that's out of my control, and honestly, I don't have the energy. I don't think I'm the best person to address some of these issues. I'm out. So I'm not going to do it, which should make me feel more relaxed, but I'm not more relaxed yet because I still have another month of work, and in that time I do want to try and do some valuable things, which means I still have to put in all that effort, and I'm just tired. But anyway, let me update you on my reading. So it's Saturday morning now, and I haven't even started any of these books that I wanted to read this week. So I'm definitely behind on things, but I am halfway through both the other things I'm reading. So Redawn, I'm halfway through it. There's elements I'm liking and elements I'm not. It has kind of come together with like kind of following on from the events of the first novella, and I like that we're getting more of the slugs. The slugs are probably my favorite element at the moment of this because we're not getting the fun AI yet. But I just think a lot of these kind of books, it kind of reminds me of like Shatter Me, the world Shatter Me, where there's this whole military organization and this whole hierarchy and people in leadership, and the concepts of leadership are so simplified, and the organization just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't work like that. And it's a little bit weird for it to be like that in Redawn, because I know that Brandon Sanderson does a really great job of like exploring themes of leadership and organizational structure in like the Stormlight archives. You can't see them. They're down there. So I know he can deal with those ideas complexly, but I think he just doesn't want to because it's YA. But I feel like you can still write a world that feels like all that complexity is there, but just not necessarily handling it. Whereas this feels like that complexity isn't even there. I don't know, but it just, something about it makes it feel less genuine to me, and that makes me less engaged in the conflict. Still, it's a fun read. I'm getting through it. I'm enjoying it, but it's just not quite, like, it's not blowing my mind or anything. And really at this point, I just want to get back to reading this one so I can find out what's happening with Spencer, because at this point I've remembered a lot about what was happening with Spencer, and that's a way more interesting story. Anyway, the other thing that I have been reading is the Dragon Reborn. Also, sorry if you can hear those cicadas. I might be able to block them out of the video so you won't be able to hear them, but they are so loud out there now. Recently, people were talking about like, oh, the cicadas are gone, there's not many this year. But there really does seem to be a lot now, so I think maybe they were just late this year. Anyway, I'm halfway through the Dragon Reborn. I feel like the first quarter of the book was just the boys out on their adventure and rebelling against the prophecy. The next whole quarter has really been about the girls at this magic school type place, and there's a lot of like conspiracy theories going on. There's these Black Aja who are like these women kind of like undercover agents for the Dark One, and so the girls are trying to figure out who are the Black Aja and what are they up to, and there's all these secret dealings, which is kind of interesting, but also there are a lot of characters and keeping them all straight in my head is not something I'm great at. I don't feel like enough of the characters are distinctive enough to me. But anyway, I am going to drive over to Jason's later, so all that driving will let me listen to some more of that, and then I guess I'll go for some walks as well sometime this weekend. Basically, I want to finish all these books by the end of February, which is Monday, end of Monday. So really, if I want to do that, I need to get my shit together. Also, all of these are due back at the library before then, and I have a library hold that I don't know if I could pick it up while I have overdue books. I feel like they'll tell me off. So I want to finish these books and return them before that library hold expires, because they only keep books at the library for you for a certain amount of time. I think it's like the 3rd of March it's there for me until. So I just need to finish reading all of these. So I'm going to spend a lot of time this weekend reading. I also have some video stuff to do. As I said, I'm going to go visit Jace, but also we're up to 12,000 Omicron cases now, and probably lots more because our testing capacity is maxed out. So like probably not really going to go anywhere either at this point. So it's a great weekend for reading and being productive, so I'll see if I can do that. Hello, so I have been way too stressed at work to vlog. I'm definitely counting down the days again. Definitely not extending my contract, oh my goodness. But anyway, I am just going to take a break from work to go for a walk and return some of my library books. However, I read some of these and I haven't told you about them, so I should probably do that. I also don't remember if I actually told you, but what I decided to do is I've decided I'm not going to read Cytonic now. I'm going to return it to the library. I just don't have time. I don't have brain power. I'm not going to finish it before its due date. So I'm going to return this to the library and then request it again and see if I can read it next time it comes. The other thing that I did do is I read these 2 Babysitters Club books. So the Kitty Cat Club, it was super cute. I don't know if it was my favorite Karen one. There probably weren't enough cats, is what I think was the problem with it. But it's kind of just fun. I actually really liked Claudia and the New Girl. I think I actually have my old copy. My old copy that I had from when I was a kid of the original. It's really interesting to see how kind of the New Girl is set up as like this hippie, and they kind of did the same thing in here, but not really, because being a hippie doesn't really make sense in the same way as it used to. But this one I found really fun, and I really enjoyed reading it. I don't know what's happening with the lighting while I film, so anyway, I'm going to return those all to the library. And while I walk, I'm going to try and finish off the Dragon Reborn, because I've been reading that, but I'm a little bit from the end. So I'll update you again tonight, hopefully, when I've finished it. We'll see how we go. Hello, so it is the next day, but last night, quite late actually, I did finish off the Dragon Reborn. I ended up listening to it on my walk and then also listening to it in bed while I waited to get to the end. I did find the ending like a little bit convenient and very similar to the previous book in the series, where the boys all kind of like swooped in to save the day at the end, and like just convenient, repetitive, not sure about that ending. It definitely does open up a lot of potential in the world though, and I feel like my favorite part is just all the ideas this has about these different kinds of worlds and how they affect each other, how it fits in with the prophecy. All that is really interesting, but the individual stories of the characters I'm less interested in. Probably my favorite is Matt. He's just kind of a little shit, and I enjoy that. Even though he's constantly getting himself into trouble, at least it's interesting. I feel like a lot of the characters are quite bland, like Nynaeve, stubborn bitch, love it, love their energy, but the rest of them are kind of just like good guy Gryffindors or something. Like, I don't find them very interesting. So I'm hoping that'll change in future books. I do think Perrin has a lot of potential in terms of his connection with the wolves, and just there's so much potential in the world, but I kind of am afraid I just don't really like Robert Jordan's writing style. I feel like maybe it's improving through the series already though, because like I said previously, I felt the last book had way too many details that didn't matter, whereas I felt like that was less true in this one, although that could have been just because I was paying more attention this time. I didn't feel like I used my whiteboard that much to like collect the details, but maybe just having that as a possibility helped me to pay attention. But maybe the writing was actually better. Maybe. So I'm going to pick up the rest of the series at some point. So I guess we'll find out. Hopefully we'll just get so much more of this cool different world thing that's going on. But otherwise, now that I've finished that, I guess I'm going to wrap this vlog up. I really don't even remember what I read at this point. I guess there was the 2 Babysitters Club graphic novels. Oh, and I read the Redawn novella. That was okay. To be honest, probably no favorites this week. I am glad, however, that I decided to put Cytonic down because I just would not have got into it, and I don't need more stress in my life at the moment. And like, also, Cytonic is all about war, albeit a space war, but still about war. War stories aren't always my favorite. I've said that before anyway, but at the moment, with the current state of the world, maybe we've already got too much war in the real world, let alone in our fictional worlds. I mean, to be honest, that was true before Ukraine, so kind of just a continuing theme of humanity, unfortunately. Anyway, hopefully our world will hold together a little bit longer. Do let me know if you read any of the books that I have read in this vlog, because I would love to talk with you about them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next time.